Hey, couples, let's talk about love.
We're not experts. We're just taking you on our journey of love.
So, today's topic is this is pretty good too. Don't let the social media post fool you.
Don't let the social media post fool you.
Social media has broke up so many marriages and relationships, and
On different levels.
yes, and those direct messages.
Wait,
And,
before we get to that point, how was your day?
day was good. Day was good. How about yours, babe?
Good. So it was a good week altogether.
Yeah, thanks for checking
Gotta
in.
check in.
Well, I mean, I can't say that the week was totally good, but I'm here.
And we're
I'm
getting ready for
sitting.
the next week.
I'm sitting here next to the man that I love.
Oh, he's a
Yeah.
lucky guy. Gotta meet
I'm a
him one
lucky
day.
girl.
Oh, that's me. Hell no.
Anyway, so let's get to this topic,
So
babe.
don't let the social media post fool you. So, we thought about it. We thought about it in terms of, um, people have made comments about us,
They have.
about our relationship, and they're like, "Oh my God, you guys are so great, and this and that, and I wish we could be like you." And
Oh, you all look so happy. Look like you had fun together.
and you know what? There are times where
Ugh.
that picture was one thing, but what's happening in the background is kind of like the duck on the pond. On the top, the duck looks calm, and then their legs are moving like
crazy.
So again, we also, now, part of it is part of our rule that
Yes.
we don't let the outside world see
What's going on?
What's going on completely.
It's none of y'all's business for real.
Even though we're doing a podcast about our marriage, but we'll digress. But at the end of the day, you look at, but you don't, because you, no one could give you that kind of advice on the outside in that way. That's going to be helpful.
Outside of our marriage.
Yeah, that's going to be helpful because people take sides. Yep. People have their own, biases or whatever. So it's like, look, we need to work with this within ourselves. And if we have a therapist to bring us in, but that'll be about it.
And sometimes your remedies may not work for us.
Exactly. So, but things will be going on. But we also don't want the outside world. Now, it's not saying that we're putting up a fake facade.
Absolutely not.
That picture is real, for us. Like we make a point of that. Like if we had a good time, we had a good time.
But if we don't, we're not going to post that we're not having a good time. We're not putting up this fake facade. I think what you see, because first of all, social media is not like that for me. Definitely not like that for me. And I know it's not like that for you. You like the food, and I'm on there whenever, like, I see a memory that came up.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sitting there posting every chance I get. I'm not saying, oh, look at him, I love him so much, and he's my man, and then in the background, like, oh my God, I could kill this man right now.
But we've seen couples that,
my goodness,
we experienced couples that, they're posting and it looks like they're all good. And then you get to talk with them, and they're like, they hate each other. Like, and I'm like,
they're divorced.
They're divorced. You're like, oh my goodness, what happened? And the reason we say what happened is because you really don't know. And I think that's what this topic is really about.
Mm-hmm.
It's not fully on just the social media, but like you really don't know what's going on. So you shouldn't really compare yourself to other people's marriages because you don't know. Like we don't want you to compare yourselves to us. Like, and we're not doing this because we're not experts, and we don't want people to say, "Oh, you got to do it that way." No, we're doing it because we're sharing stuff that would have been helpful even for us just to hear and to listen to understand that we go through stuff and everybody goes through stuff. But it's how you go through it together, how you deal with it, how you work through it, that makes a difference. And then listen to each other.
So I'm going to tell you, I saw one post of this couple going at it with each other. I mean, like you did this, I saw you do this, and this and the next thing I know, they're like, "Oh, I love you so much," and they're taking these pictures, like, "Oh, look at us, we're this super couple." But then the next day or the next week, publicly on social media, they're going at it. Like, why would you be talking to this person? And passive aggressive ways of saying, yeah, you don't even want to be with your son, but you over here or be with your daughter. So again, I look at it as, first of all, social media don't need to know your business. I also am not a big fan of like, oh, we're happy, look at us now. But in all actuality, are we really happy? Do we need the world to approve that we're happy or not?
Mm.
Right? Do we need, like, so what?
You know, something that you said made me think about like the use of social media. Even so you said you're not there for this. You're there, you see a memory and that brings it up. And I think that's what it is for me for social media. Like social media is about the memories. It's about having a space to put something up that snapshots in time, something that I enjoyed. Like or you I enjoyed. And it could be, I think about like my Women Crush Wednesdays, and it's you.
Oh yeah,
And
so
it's because it's a picture that like really stands out to me as like, damn, you look good. And so like I'm gonna put it up there. And I think that's what it's about. Like, and then it's finding some good stuff, some funny stuff. I have a slew of recipes that I'm gonna make. That I want to make. And again, as I think about it, they're recipes that I think we would both like together. And then we may even like doing together, kind of thing. So it's like, really, it still goes back to that connection piece, still goes back to that, how you connect, but it's like not looking and when I look at different posts, like if I see people on vacation or I see people having a good time, like I don't look at it and be like, man, I wish that was us. It's more of like, oh, we should try that. Or I wonder what how would we experience it, or how would we curate this experience based on what they said? So like I think about it. So there was one point Monica said, you know what, I want to go to New Orleans. And I was like, that'd be cool. Like I've been down there many times. I went to school down there. My family's from that area. So like I was like, yeah, I love New Orleans. First thing I think about was food. We're gonna eat.
But it wasn't actually just like that, though. It was actually you sent me
well, no,
something.
But based on you saying, that's what I'm getting to that point. Like, because you said that, and then I've literally what popped up. You know how that the creepy Google that be listening to you must have heard our conversation at some point, because what folks shows up on my feed: weekend trip to New Orleans. What to do? And I saw it, and I was like, "Oh, this is so cool!" And I just sent it to you, and you said, "So this must mean you want to go to New Orleans." And I was like, "I said no. I was just remembering that you said you would love to just pop up and go to New Orleans, and this came up, and I was like, that'd be great." So I was like, "Let's just do it." And you were like, "Well, let me look it up." And you started looking up like weekend trips to New Orleans, and we had a weekend trip to New Orleans.
It was great. It was the best thing ever. And I kept so here is where the social media should have played in. We would have documented. We did. We documented the pictures and everything. We went to New Orleans, but we didn't and we had a great time. But because we didn't post them out on Facebook, we didn't post them on Instagram, we didn't post anything. But so what? We still had a good time. I think that when you post your journey, our love journey, your love journey, who's ever love journey, it's not because we want the world to say, "Ooh, look at them, they're having fun." It's like, "Oh, you know what? Let's just post those up there." It's just because.
Yeah.
And I mean, we went to Greece. We still haven't posted those.
Yeah, we did.
We posted the flying dress pictures, but we didn't post any of our Greece pictures.
All the pictures.
But we had a great time.
Yeah.
I think people use social media for different things.
Yeah.
Some may use it to put up this facade that, oh yeah, we're doing well, but in all actuality, they're not. I think we use it as the tool that it's there for, to document our journey.
Yeah.
If we want to put it up, if we don't want to put, I mean, we've taken many trips that we haven't posted. Yeah. But we had it, and it's not that we didn't have a good time. But we had a great time.
We will create a folder. So I create a photos folder. He
does.
And we have those so that we could go back and what I'll do is I may pull them. So like what happens with me is that I've gotten on this end of the year kind of like collage of our year. And I'll create that and because we had a folders, it's easy. I can go back and create it. And then I like doing the 10-year posters, the 10-year postings. So finding a photo that really like when it happens, and it just so happens that it happens. It has to happen in this year for me to create that. So like we have a good experience, and I'm like, oh, it's a nice photo, and then it reminds me of a photo from back in the days, and I want to see, oh, was this 10 years ago? And then we look at it, and then I create that. Like, so now I have a new 2014 versus 2024 photo that I posted of us, because it was just two photos that we look good in, and I was like, why not?
So I have a good one for us. So we were going through some tough times. We were going through really tough times, and we went on a cruise together, and we were trying to reconnect with each other. Remember? And we posted these pictures of ourselves. Oh yeah, we're in the promenade. Oh, we're doing it. But in all actuality, we were going through a tough time where we were trying to use this cruise. You know how small these staterooms are. If you don't, try it out. How we could reconnect. This cruise would be a great way to do that. And so we're posting these pictures, and I think with me posting was like, yo, we're okay, we're doing good. But in actuality, we weren't doing well. We were having our struggles because remember the first therapist we saw, it was like, oh God, this is not working out. And then was it someone else or just her? And then we went right to our current one.
Mm-hmm.
But between that time, we were posting, we were like, yeah, look at us. We're doing this. Oh, look at us. We went. And then it just stopped.
But also, I think it also, like, you can have in the moment, and again, I think that's part of it. Like, in the moment may be fine.
But the moment is that moment. We're still having this long,
and I think
out.
That's the piece. Is like, just because you see the snapshots of moments online doesn't mean that's what's really all the way happening all the time. And it's not a good or a bad thing. And it's not saying that these people are perpetrating a lie. We weren't perpetrating a lie. In that moment, we enjoyed that time. The smile is real, because trust and believe, if it wasn't a smile, there wouldn't be a smile in the picture.
No, I don't believe so.
I can show you the proof of those pictures. We got some pictures where there's no smiles.
Go offline with that, because I want him to show me these pictures.
I'll show some pictures where you ain't got a smile on your face, and I'll be like, I remember why. But that's okay. But those don't necessarily get posted, because again, I think it also goes back to, we also have the unwritten rule that we don't post. Like, some people do it, and I'm just not one of those people. I don't post pictures where we don't look good.
Yeah,
I think that's important. Like, I'm not gonna, and I've seen it. I've seen some people, they look crazy, and they just shouldn't be posting that picture, or they post a picture that's unflattering of their significant other, and I'm like, yeah, I'm not okay with that, because like there's a message that comes, with that. So we do post pictures that, where we are happy, and like I said, in that moment, it worked, and doesn't mean that we didn't have an issue going on that we still had to work through.
But I still say that it also puts up this facade that everything is okay. So we're saying we're okay, but in actuality we're really not, even though it was in that moment. That one moment, like we were back at each other. Like every little thing annoyed us. So that means we weren't connecting. Even though that instant 30 minutes we might have had, oh, you know what, this dinner was great. Yeah, let's take a quick picture. Let's document showing that we're doing good. But I think with that being said, we were cognizant of it. We said, you know what? Let's not post. Let's just make sure that we're in a good place, because we did have people say, oh my God, you guys are great. Oh, we love you. The power couple we got. You're always so happy. You guys look like you're having a good time. And we didn't want to put up this fake that we are, because what if it didn't work out? So that's why we say don't compare your relationship to ours, and we're not going to compare our relationship to no one else on social media, because one, it's not fair. Two, it's like, is this real? It gives false hope. And we always say, look, we're always a work in progress. We're going to continue to be a work in progress. I mean, every couple should continue to always be a work in progress. We got to do better to get better.
And you don't know what you had to do to get to that point. That you're like, maybe we put on that face because it was for something else. Like just because we have our issues doesn't mean we bring that into a party for the grandkids. Let's say, you know what I'm saying? Like that's the party for the grandkids. It's not about us. It's about them.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So if we're going somewhere else, and it's not like it's one thing to be mad at each other in the house.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But you can't go to somebody else's party and be mad at each other. That's wrong. That's a bit selfish. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So like even with that, like you got to think like, yeah, just because we made this post on social media, we're having a good time, and we may have had a good time in that moment, but we also again we know we have to still come back and deal with this other stuff. So when we talk about like that, don't compare.
Right.
Because you don't a picture does not give you everything.
It does not.
Sometimes a picture is a picture. Sometimes it may have caught you in the wrong light. I mean, I've taken, I'm the multiple shot king. Like I'm gonna just keep snapping pictures. And you know what? Depending on what your facial expression look like, I can show you smiling and then looking like you are pissed and then smiling again. Not because you were mad, just because it's the way it caught, that picture because I'm snapping 100 pictures at the same time. You know what I'm saying? So like, again, the picture doesn't necessarily tell you the true story all the way. And you can pick the best shot now, especially even with AI.
Yeah. And I also think in my opinion, I feel like if you're not in a good place, social media should not be where you are because people do look and they do say, oh, that's great. Maybe we should try that or maybe we should do what they're doing. I think when you're not in that good place, get into this good place so that you can show if that's what your goals are. Because I've seen couples that we thought were like, oh my God, they're great. The next thing we know, like, hey, did you hear so and so got a divorce? Well, we just saw that they were doing great. Yeah. I don't know if that was something that they were trying to portray to the world that, yeah, look at us. But eventually it's going to come out because then you'll look at them with a different person. You're like, yeah. And you know what it ties into? When Jay and I were wedding and event planners and we do these weddings and we know these couples are great. Oh my God, they're going to work out. And next thing you look up, you're like, hey, did you see so-and-so with somebody else? Like, again, we're following their social media thinking everything's great when all actuality it wasn't. So I think it's important that you again don't let those social media posts fool you because we don't know what's going on behind the scenes. We want to make sure that we give off the most realist us, the most authentic greens.
Yes.
Because we have these people that are, I mean, I had one person come to me, goes, oh my God, I love you guys. I follow you all on Facebook. I was like, creepy a little bit, just a little bit, but okay. And not that I care what people think. I don't. But I don't want them to think that everything is hokey dory when it really isn't.
And you can't really express it the same way. Some people do and they're honest with it, but then some people are not. And you say like, look, it's just it's not always rainbows and butterflies.
Exactly.
And I think that's what it is. Not always rainbows and butterflies
and unicorns.
Yep. But they're there, and they are there, and you should, and it's not saying that you shouldn't. You should post when you want to. Do what you want to do. Like and again, if you want to use it to share the happy moments, share the fun times,
or even share the bad times. Hey, people, we got a question for you all. If we have a difference that we might want to get from everyone else, here's a question we have. What do you think? And then we run that little poll. I think we've done that once.
But the question had to be, now again, when you go through that process, the question has to be something that you both agree upon.
Agree.
And that it's a fair question and it's not a leading question.
I agree.
Because if you lead people to one side because it's your side, then you haven't done a true, fair poll. You're making people say like, it's like kind of saying like, you know what? Should Monica smack me in the face?
Why you think that?
It's not that's. I'm leading you. Like, no one should ever hit anybody, and all other stuff. It doesn't work that way. That's a good one. But I'm saying like, you don't want to lead anybody to your answer that you want. You want it to be a fair question, and understanding, and we both agree. Okay, you know what, we can get, because then it'll make people think, and it make people think. Like the goal is, I wonder, there's this side and there's this side. Now I gotta say which one would I go with. And that's there. So you have to really think about it. And then like again with social media, like how do you interact? How do you talk about it? How do you we use it for different things. Like I may post something and be like, what do you think about this topic? What do you think about this piece here? And or what are you seeing when you see this as well, which I think is another way to connect. And now we're talking about something that we saw, something that we've experienced together, and it brings up a topic as well.
Yeah, I get it, but what I'm thinking more so is like when we're posting on social media, is this a depiction of us? Even the topics that we say, like a good example, you might post something like, "Yeah, babe, I don't like that. I think you should take that down." Like that's not a depiction of us. That's well, I'm gonna say that's not a depiction for me. Look at it in a different way, and then you're like, you know what? I never thought of it that way. I think social media. I think social media at some point could be the devil. I really do. You know, um, and I think it could make or break a marriage. And that's why we shouldn't let those posts, those direct messages, whatever come into play dictate your marriage. I think that's the key thing that we need to take away from this. I also think that we don't post when we're in a bad place, period, anymore. We've done it late earlier on in the marriage when we wanted people to see, yeah, we're married. Look at us, we're here. But I think when we're not in a good place, our posts are not there, our pictures are not there. We're not doing anything because now we're trying to get ourselves together. We don't want the world to think that we're always on point.
And sometimes we're also just busy.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, it's not always like if we're missing posts. Sometimes we're just busy,
And that's why we haven't put out.
There you go. Yeah, exactly.
Greece. Now, Greece was what, 2022, and it's 2024.
I mean, you know what? Because there's also a part of, I feel like you're like, I'm trying to tell the story, and with so many pictures, how do I tell the story and don't annoy people with the 50 plus picture thing?
Great, baby. Tell our story. Like this is our love story.
Yep.
And I think that's perfect. That's a perfect way to put that. Mm-hmm. Like we're not just gonna post them just to post them. You want to put a story to it, and if it doesn't fit who we are as the Greens, mm-hmm. then maybe that's not a good time to put them up. Because it does take time to put that story together, make it look good, chronological order, and how this builds upon what we have now. Mm-hmm. Agree?
I agree.
So I agree. Like social media is not my go-to. It never really has been. First of all, I think it is a little bit annoying at some point. And like, what am I posting? I mean, may find something funny. Oh, look at this one. This is cute. Or a recipe that I want to refer back to. So I put it on my timeline so I can find it again. But I also don't follow other couples. That's one thing. Now I might watch their videos or something like that, but I'm not going to follow and take note of those couples. Mm-hmm. Because again, their remedies may not work for me, mm-hmm. work for us. I'm sorry, won't. And so what makes them happy may not make us happy, or what works for them may not work for us. I think we have to take our own journey. We have to forge our own destiny of what love looks like for the Greens. Mm-hmm. I think we need to, and if we want to document that on social media, we should. But we should also put a disclaimer. This works for us.
Yes.
and this may not work for you. Do what makes it work for your family.
And no one else's happiness can be your happiness.
Exactly.
You have to create your own happiness. Now you can take, I think what we're saying though, you can take experiences from people and be like, "Ooh, maybe we should try this, or we should do this." And that
we'll put our own spin on it.
Exactly, which is not comparison. It's more of like, "Ooh, I like this idea." It can spark your idea of your connection. Again, how you curate an experience for your significant other, based on something that you've seen in there, as opposed to, we need to do this because that's what they did.
Exactly.
Which kind of goes into our last topic, where you don't need more date nights. Like it's the same thing. It's in that same vein. It's like, we don't need to do the same thing that other people are doing.
Or look at what couple so and so doing. You think if we do this,
they always travel, they always do that. Why are we not doing that?
Exactly.
Maybe we can't. Maybe we can't afford it. Maybe we got too much work. Maybe they ain't got no kids. Maybe they got this. Maybe they got a living babysitter because their mama lives at home. So you know what? They can just pick up and go. Who knows? Maybe they're selling drugs. I don't know what they're doing. That they got all this. But everything is different. And that's you just don't know. And it's okay. Your happiness is your happiness.
You create that happiness.
Exactly.
You make that book. You create this storybook according to what you and your significant other wanted to look like. And we don't necessarily have to share with the world. Because it doesn't matter what the world says or what social media says. It's what we say and what we think and how it works out for us. And I think the other part of it is, again, not tapping into other people's journey and comparing our journey to their journey, because their journey could be, we don't know where they went, how they got to that journey. They don't know how we got to our journey. We could have ran over bridges and mountains and rivers and oceans to get to this journey, and theirs was probably, we started here and we continue that path. It might have been easier for them. So I think we should take social media for what it is, and not for what we want it to be. We don't want it to dictate our marriage. We don't want it to be a tool for our marriage. I don't think we should use it as, oh, maybe we should try that. If we do try, we put our own spin on it, because I think difference is better. Maybe, like using it as a place to just say, hey, Jay, check out this recipe. We should try this tonight.
Yeah. Yeah. Which again is us.
Exactly.
Doing it together. So, thinking about that, should we go over the question for next time, or a question for, question of the day?
Yes.
Question, what role does social media play in your marriage?
That's a good one.
What role does it play in your marriage? Do I send you too many funny videos? Yeah.
Let's not talk about that.
It'd be funny as heck.
Hey, I know. He be in there just sitting. I'm like, God, please stop sending these.
And I say the recipes. I do all say all my recipes.
And has it put a wedge between your marriage at some point? And if it did, how did you fix it?
Yep, that's good. That's all good.
That's a good one. So, guess what, guys? Mark your calendars. Friday, April 26th, we're going to go live. You're going to see these lovely faces. We're going to go live at the Pink Palace Boutique.
Pink Palace Boutique.
We're going to talk about intimacy. That's going to be super important. So if you got any questions you might want to kick out to us before then, do that. So again, mark your calendars. We're going to be out there on Friday, April 26th, 3 p.m. And if you miss it, we'll go ahead and put that up there on the 28th so you can listen to it on our podcast. And so with that being said, guys, we're going to close out with thank you for listening. We appreciate you. Please subscribe if you like our podcast. Give us a like on Facebook. Shout out on Instagram. And join us next week as we talk about not tonight, well, when. Until next week, don't forget to tell your spouse, I love you.
I love you.
And you're my rock.
You're my peace.
All right, guys. Bye now.
Peace.